Okay, so SB Nation's Battle Red blog kind of had an article that I thought was interesting. It just was titled Houston Texans Salary Cap Health. And it got me thinking about what is the success or what does the future look like for the Houston Texans beyond the talent on the field. We know that you just got Stroud. We know that Anderson is here. We know all these things. You got you got what should be your cornerstone on offense and your defense taken care of in the draft. But what about the health of the salary cap of this team? Where is it? What does it look like? And how does it give you the ability to build around these young stars this year and furthermore next year and the next few years going after it while you have them at a bargain? Okay, while you have them at a bargain. And that's what you need to do. You need to do well on that. So here's what it said in the Battle Red blog. It basically said that the Texans right now have almost 230, 250,000, 250 million in cap that they have set. But there's a cap space of almost 14 million left. Now you want to have a cap space in that 10 to 15 million range during the regular season in case you have to make moves, whether it's waivers, whether it's an in-season trade. Like you want to have flexibility to do things with your roster. So we know they're set up pretty good this year. But what about going forward? In this video, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about their salary cap and the implications going forward and their future draft picks, because I know a lot of people were kind of hitting the Texans saying they spent too much to get Will Anderson. Let's talk about that and if they did and what they have going forward. So PFF.com says the Houston Texans ranked 14 out of 32 teams with where their salary cap's at, basically how much money they have this year and going forward. Now, one thing that I don't think they factored in is after this year, your dead money hit from Brandon Cooks, which is sitting at about 22 million. In places that I looked, one place I saw it was 15 million, one place 22. I don't know what it is. What I know is that it's a lot this year, but it's gone. It'll just be a memory after this year. So there's a lot of other things that are going on. And I want to share with you, I like using, and if you haven't seen this, and if you're kind of like me and you're a salary cap kind of nerd, Spotrac is a great place to get things. And this shows what players of yours you're giving the most money and what their cap hit is this year. So Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard are your only two people in double digits for the millions. That's it. They take up 16, 17, roughly 17% of your cap. Okay, thank you so much. That works for me, right? And then everybody else is below that. You have Will Anderson here. Like, this is absolutely nuts. And you don't have a ton left over after all this is done. So there's projected here with Stroud, and that'll be a cap hit of 7 million and all this kind of stuff. Here's what I'm saying. This year's fine. You can see right here that your projected total cap is $218 million. But here's what I want everybody to see when I bring it to next year. What are you going to have next year like as opposed to this year? All right. Thank you. It finally updated. So Tunsil's still your biggest hit, then Shaq Mason, then Collins, Robert Woods, and then Stingley, Anderson, all that kind of stuff. But your total cap right here, $153,700,000. Not even 700,000, leaving you a very large number. Okay, leaving you roughly next year what will likely be over $100 million to spend if you need to spend it. This is why teams win championships, or this is why teams make their runs when their rookie quarterback is in the first 4 years of their contract. So if CJ Stroud pans out, if Will Anderson pans out, before you have to give them a respective 50 and 25 million, you get to pay them under 10 million. Thank you. I will take that. And then you get to put talent around them. Your cap is in a good spot. Okay, so what about the draft picks? We had to give up stuff. We had to give up stuff to the Cardinals. We got rid of they got 2023 first round pick and a 2023 fourth round pick, which ended up being Ringo, to the Texans. And they got rid of their 2023 first round picks, which is number 12, a 2023 second round pick, and a 2024 first round pick, and a 2024 third round pick. So you're like, man, they move so much away. But there's good news, because they get the Browns' first round pick in 2024. All right. This is according to prosportstransactions.com, which I've used this quite a bit. I've used this for NBA. I've used it for NFL. They usually are pretty reliable with good detail on where it comes from. So you give up a first round pick to the Cardinals next year, and you get one from the Browns. The question is, will the Browns be better? Hey, it's a first round pick. At least you still have one, and you already have your two studs. You're not banking on the Texans being bad, but also Texans fans, how nice is it to just be able to root for your team? How nice is it that you don't have to have this worry of like, what if they get too good too fast? And then, what if they ruin their draft pick and we end up picking 12th instead of picking second? Like, you don't have to worry about that. You just get to cheer for your team every single week. That's nice. I don't know if any of you ever have that mindset of like, what time of the year do you start playing the what draft pick are we game? Look, I've been a Lions fan for a long time. We play that game. It's a game that we play. You still have your second round pick. And then check this out. Oh, but we also had to give up a third round pick to the Cardinals. But you have the Eagles. You have the Eagles' third round pick. You have the Browns' fourth round pick and your own fourth round pick. You have your own fifth round pick. And then you have a sixth round pick, even though you gave one to the Browns. So in every single, and then you have 3 seventh round picks. But in every single round, you have a pick in 2024. And guess what? In 2025, it's the exact same. So here's what I'm saying. You were smart. And I just realized I didn't switch over what I was looking at. I kept it on the salary cap. I'm sorry. If you want, while I continue talking about this, I'm happy to put it up and I'll present the screen that I was looking at for you. So if you want, you can go ahead and look to that later, because you probably see me pointing to the screen and you're probably like, what is this dude pointing at? Amateur hour over here, right? So you can see what I was getting for round 1, round 2, round 3. And as I finish the video, I'll leave that up for you. I will. But here's what you now know. The Texans hopefully have their edge rusher of the future, arguably the most important position on the defense. They have their quarterback of the future in CJ Stroud, the most important position on the offense. They have Tunsil, a left tackle. Thank you. They have their cornerstones in place. And they have $100 million and a normal amount of draft picks to surround that talent, that young talent. I understand the Texans might not be amazing next year. But if you are a Houston Texans fan, the future is bright. You have a young head coach that should be good. If he does anything similar to what happened in San Francisco and brings that over, oh my goodness. And he wanted to be there. When the free agency, not free agency, but when the coaching carousel was happening, and then I'll take this down now. When the coaching carousel was happening, they were talking about how Houston is a graveyard for coaches. Nobody's going to want to be there. But then he said, I want to be there. He picked it over other jobs. Anyways, it's exciting. So that's what we do on this channel. We like to give good news, right? We like to keep things positive. We like to keep things upbeat. It's not always they stink, doom and gloom. Remember, we like the small media market teams that don't get a lot of love on the national stage. And the Houston Texans, you don't get a lot of love on the national stage. That's reserved for another team in Dallas or in Texas. Don't worry. We're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the Texans. So I'm really excited to just kind of see how this is all going to gel together for the Texans. Excited to see if Stroud is the quarterback from Ohio State that finally breaks through and has a successful NFL career. Will Anderson just being in one of the long list of successful Alabama players, and just seeing what this team does with a large amount of resources going forward. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.